Yo, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Pastor Ron, and welcome to Game Day Gospel. Hope everything's going well. Hope you're blessed. Today is a Knicks Tape Thursday, and I hope that we are going to chop it up about basketball, about some football, throw some football in there as well as championship week, but we're going to talk about mostly basketball and the NBA. So let's start off. Our Knicks are doing well. Since the OG trade, we're 10-2. And and people have hit me up in my inbox. Yo, Ron, do you like the trade now? Yo, Ron, do you think this? Do you think that? Listen, bro, I am still not on this trade. I am still not supporting this trade. I am still not part of this. We have no scoring, right? Let me pull up the last game we had. Let me. People just don't understand basketball. Let's pull up the last game we had. Who did we play most recently? We played the Nets, right? Let's look at the Knicks and the Nets, right? Let's see how that looking, and let's see our issue. That was what, Monday night. Let's pull this up. I'm on the laptop. I'll pull this up. Let's go right into it and right into what our issues are. We sit there and see the plus minus. We sit there and see all the good numbers. Like, yeah, the Knicks is back. Knicks are bad. We're a championship team. We're right behind. The only team that could beat us is Boston. Blah 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 blah. But we realize we don't have any scoring. All right, so let's go with let's go with just scoring. I'm not even gonna go that deep. We could go plus minus. We have OG at a plus 11. All that is cool, right? Let's look at points scored. In 37 minutes, Julius Randle had 30 points. In 36 minutes, Jalen Brunson had 30 points. Our next best scorer is Dante DiVincenzo, who scored 11 points in 26 minutes. This is not sustainable, guys. Please cut the nonsense. Don't allow what you see to make you forget what's going on, right? Don't like what I preach on, right? Let's bring the bridge. The greatest enemy of vision is sight. We forget the long term. We forget what God is saying. We forget reality because based on what we see. In your heart, you realize that he is not the guy. Guys, he is not the one. He is not the player for us. He is not the difference maker. So please cut the nonsense. Please stop it. Thinking that he's a difference maker. No. Let me ask you a question. If he's so nice, is he worth $30 million a year? No. He's not worth 30 M's a year. He's worth Evan Fournier money, 18 to 20 a year. Because he's limited offensively. Yes, he does a great job defensively, but that does not win playoff games. Remember last year against the Heat, with all that Jalen Brunson did, all that was going on, we sat here and then we got to a point we could not score. Julius Randle doing his typical choke job every playoff series, and they were shitting their defense towards stopping Jalen Brunson, and we could not score. So we can't forget that. If we're relying on Brunson and Randle to drop 30 a game, that works nice now. But we all know in playoff time, Randle's not going to show up. We know once the defense and the competition steps up, Randle's not going to show up. The NBA is going to adjust and find a way to shut down 6'2" Jalen Brunson. I love the guy. Like I said, he's the first jersey I've purchased, Knicks jersey I've purchased ever. Because A, I love how he plays. B, he's one of the only guys who I believe is going to be here for a while. I almost got an RJ Barrett jersey, but I didn't because I wised up. And I want you to realize it is what it is. Like we're limited. He's a great player, the most valuable player in the NBA. 25 M's a year. I love it. But at the end of the day, he's not MJ. He's not LeBron. He's not a player that can win us a playoff series. Come on, guys. Let's be for real. And OG, for all he's doing, I love how people want to share his plus minus and blah, 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 blah. He is not the one. I love the guy. I love seeing the team win. That win against the Nets was good, but I'm also seeing long term. Long term, this is not the solution. What I want now that February 8th is a trade deadline, there's two players I want. There's two players I want that won't give us a championship, but what they'll do is make us a more formidable team. The first guy I want is Malcolm Brogdon. We need a backup point guard, a competent backup point guard, or just a guard off the bench that could help carry our second unit. We cannot keep playing Jalen Brunson these dumb minutes, man. This is Tom Thibodeau. This is why Tibbs is someone that has a short shelf life. He plays his guys into the ground. He plays them into the ground and gets upset when they sit there and struggle. We can't do this, guys. We cannot continue to play our guys into the ground. We have to learn the importance of us being able to sit here and manage minutes. As a fan, I love the fact that the Knicks don't manage loads. Do load management. These guys play every single game. I love it. Because you know what you're going to get. But I also am afraid that these minutes are going to wear these players down. They're going to get them hurt. And it's cool to play everybody every game. But 36 minutes a game, this is the same thing that happened to Tibbs with Chicago. He played not Jalen Rose, Derrick Rose and Noah, Luol Deng. He played all those guys crazy minutes. He rode these players all season long. And then when playoff time came about, they struggled. When playoff time came about, they had no more energy. This is typical Tibbs. He has not evolved. I remember this. I was watching the I think it's called, was it Playoff P? Whatever the Paul George podcast. And he was talking about Tibbs. Like, Tibbs a cool guy, but Tibbs don't turn it off. And like during even the Olympics, he was like, "Yo, Tibbs, chill, bro. Like, this, it's not that deep." Paul George was telling a story about like how like Tibbs would just be going hard in Olympics. He's like, "Yo, it's just the Olympics, bro. Relax. Cool out, smile, take a couple of minutes off. Don't run us into the ground." But that's just how he is. I understand that's how he's wired. But also, I think this way is not sustainable because you're able to get the most you can out of an 82 game season. But then by the time they get to game 100, to get to game 90 in the playoffs, they're worn down. And not only it's 37 minutes, it's 37 hard minutes of playing hard defense and hustle in your face. So I think, we need a little bit of depth to hopefully reduce Jalen's minutes, reduce Randall's minutes, reduce all our starters' minutes, and be able to not have a big drop off. Because playing guys like Miles McBride and DiVincenzo is not sustainable. Also, with Robinson being out and now Hartenstein being out, like, what are we gonna do? Bring back Taj Gibson? What are we gonna do as Knicks fans? So I want Malcolm Brogdon. I think he'll be someone very easy to pick up. Wouldn't change with our picks in too much in the future. And I also want to get DeMar DeRozan. I'm a DeMar DeRozan fan because I know where he's at in his career, and I know he's a limited player. I'm not expecting the DeMar DeRozan from Toronto that could drop 30 points a night. I'm expecting a DeMar DeRozan that could average 18 to 20, give you a game where he has 40, and the next game he has 2. But that game he has 40, he carries the team to a dub. And that in playoff time, we can give him the ball and he'll get a bucket. When the game is in the balance is 105 to 105 with 5 seconds to go, I'm giving DeMar DeRozan the ball and he's taking a good shot. And then more times than not, he's making that shot. I'm not trusting Jalen Brunson with that. I'm definitely not trusting Julius Randle because he don't try to flop and get a foul and bully into somebody. You know who Julius Randle is? He's a modern version of Zach Randolph. Remember Debo, who just go in and just bully people all the time, and he would average 20 and 10 just bullying, no refined game. I think he was a lefty too, but he was like he pulled up with his J and he did all that. That is who Julius Randle is. He's Zach Randolph. He's Debo. No, they call him Zebo. Sorry, Zebo. So I think we need that because the guy who I would have trusted the most in that situation is now playing in Toronto. Actually, the two guys. If we needed one shot to win the game, the two guys I trusted the most to get that shot are RJ Barrett to make that shot. RJ Barrett, IQ. They're now in Toronto. And this is why I don't like to trade. We're very short-sighted. Oh, my God, the plus minus. We're a great defensive team. We're sitting there and diving for the ball. They can't. Nah, bro. That junk don't work. When it comes to playoffs and trying to go out here and make a mark, that does not work. Trust me. So we need to do a better job of finding a way to get more offense. So the rumor is they want an expiring contract and a first-round pick for DeMar DeRozan. Do I do that? I don't know. I don't like giving up those first-round picks, especially if it's not going to take us over the top. But if you could do like a 2 and give up Fournier and they go, something like that, and I would even sign him to a long-term deal. 3 years, three for 60, three for 75. I'll give DeMar DeRozan a 3-year contract. Heck yeah. Because he's what we need. We need a killer. We need someone to take the ball and score. So, because, again, for what it's worth, everyone swears, Bobby Marks, Woj, Sham, that, hey, the Knicks are in prime position to get a superstar in the summer. Who's that superstar, guys? Seriously, who's that superstar? Donovan Mitchell don't fit because he plays the same game as Jalen Brunson, same height. Trae Young don't fit, same position as Jalen Brunson and same height. So he's back there trying to talk about let's get a superstar. I don't know who that guy is. Cat may be the guy. Cat may be the guy that we may get. But here's the question, guys. Is he a superstar? I know he dropped 62, but is he a superstar? Is he that guy that we can sit here and say, yup, he's the one. He's the one that's going to sit here and take us over the top. We can hop on his back and then expect him to come through and help us out. I don't know, dog. I don't know if he's the one. I don't know if he's that guy that we could sit and trust and say he'll be the one to help us to get us over the top. I don't know. Perfect world, it'll be someone like Anthony Edwards. Perfect world, it will be Shea. Perfect world, it'll be Luka. But all these guys getting traded, are these guys gonna be the one to take us to the next level? Nah, bro. I don't see that player that's gonna be available that's up for contract. I don't see that free agent. The only free person that I think may be a free agent, but I don't think he'll leave his team. Paul George. Kawhi got locked up. Paul George. Paul George is what we need. But Paul George is not going to leave LA. They're opening a new arena. They are not going to have him leave LA. He's home. He's chilling. He is not going to leave LA to come to New York for the grind, for the pressure. He's not going to do it. There's no guy that I could think of unless we tank for Bronny and we get Bronny and LeBron. That's it. There's no guy. Giannis is not leaving. We'll talk about him later. He has too much power and control there. He is not leaving Milwaukee. He has Dame. Their contracts are kind of run concurrent. That 3-year project, I think Giannis is there until at least 2027. I think 2-3 years he's going to be there. Joel Embiid is chilling right now in in Philly, and plus Philly has the most cap space next year. Go figure. Philly has the most possible cap space next year. So they'll be able to get who they want and build around him. And Tyrese Maxey is a baller. So he's fine. So I don't know if that superstar exists. So do we sit here and build around, get a lot of good, great DeMar DeRozans, mid-level players to build around this team? Or do we sit and keep waiting for a superstar? We've been waiting for a superstar for 3-4 years now and haven't gotten anybody. The closest we got was Donovan Mitchell, and you see how that messed up. That was actually a blessing in disguise because it allowed us to discover, what's my guy name? Jalen Brunson. So I don't know. I don't know. That's my issue with this holding picks in next summer and next summer and next summer. This player is not going to be available. The only guy I don't know about, but I don't see him being that kind of guy is Anthony Edwards. Because they're basically said, that's your team. That's your team. Do what you want. Here's your max money. Do what you want in that team. So I don't see anyone else. Do we sit here and sign like a bunch of tier 2 and 3 guys like a Pascal Siakam? We signed DeMar DeRozan. We signed a Bruce Brown. We kind of do like the Nuggets did. Not go for a great superstar, but build a team that's good 8 and 9 deep to play into a culture and be able to go. That to me is more likely than us sitting here and trying to wait for a superstar. Or we're not bad enough to draft a great player at the top of the draft. And these picks 5 through 20 are just hit and miss. So I don't know where we're at. But yeah, I'm still enjoying what's happening. I'm still enjoying what's going on. But I think the Knicks are in trouble. So my goal for the Knicks, if we can get DeMar DeRozan for cheap, if we could get Malcolm Brogdon for cheap, and honestly, extend these guys, sign these guys for a couple years, and build a squad, right? And the only other guy we may be able to sign, depending on the economics, is Jason Tatum. Because Jaylen Brown got max money, so I don't know if they can afford those 2 guys. So maybe that's the only probably elephant in the room. The caveat is Jason Tatum, but would they trade him into in the division? That's it. That's the only is 3 choices: pray Anthony Edwards, pray Jason Tatum, or tank for Bronny. Tank for Bronny, and him and LeBron are a package deal, and we're good to go. We're good to go, and then we'll take it from there. But just our luck, we get the pick for Bronny, and LeBron's like, I don't want him to go in there, so we can't draft him because he hates the Knicks. So that's when it comes to next. So listen, we're playing well, playing the Heat this on Saturday. I think what I'm trying to do is just enjoy the ride, but not get my hopes up because I realize what it is. Not get too hype about it because I realize that, you know what, we'll probably win a first round matchup, and then we're done through there. Because right now we're fifth. This is just like last year. We're fifth in the East, tied, pretty much tied, literally tied with the Cavs to a 4th, and you got Miami, you got the Pacers, and these guys just dragging towards the end. Like it's just like last year. So we'll probably play Cleveland in the first round. We'll beat them in the first round, then lose to Boston, then lose to Philly, then lose to Milwaukee, and call it a day. That's just it. That's the life of a Knicks fan. But we have to temper the word for today is calm down, right? Calm down, relax. Let's enjoy the ride. Let's not talk crazy like we're going for a title. Let's temper our expectations. OG is not a difference maker. He is cool for what he is, but he's not a difference maker. We still need a lot of help to be in a championship conversation. Because right now, we're not a guarantee to win a second round matchup. We're not beating Boston, Milwaukee, or Philly. Don't get it twisted. We're not beating Miami. Don't get it twisted. That's not happening. So, The big news, though, in the NBA is that in Milwaukee, it's Milwaukee's team turmoil. So Milwaukee, after 43 games, decides to fire their coach. What's his name? Adrian Griffin, right? Here is the question. Here is the question, guys. The question is this fair? Is it fair to sit here and fire a coach after 43 games? I'm one of the few people in the world that actually like the call, because obviously that there are issues within this team. If we can't talk about fairness and equity about Griffin being fired, when we're sitting here and we didn't complain about Budenholzer getting fired. Budenholzer took him to a championship. Yes, they lost in the first round, but do you know that his brother died during that first round playoff series? His brother passed away during the playoffs. So maybe he didn't do his best job because he was distracted. And the team knew about this, obviously, but yet he was still let go. So just because it's not fair does not mean it wasn't the right decision. We have to learn in sports and in life. This is our issue with this Gen Z. And I deal with my kids. Life is not fair. Life is not fair. And we can't sit here and do everything based on equity. I'm not trying to preach. I'm still a pastor, give me the gospel. But we can't sit there and say, only do what's fair, because a lot of the right decisions to do are not the fair things to do. Is it fair to fire him after a certain number of games? I don't think so. Was it the right call? Yes. Let's go to football. When people are sitting there saying it's not fair to fire Nick Sirianni after making the playoffs 3 straight years and having an XYZ record. Would that be fair to fire him so soon? Probably not. Would it have probably been the right decision based on how he ended the season? Yes. Everything has to be in context. If you look at the numbers and look at the resume, it's not fair, so on and so forth and blah, blah, blah. But I think also we have to see that this team could not thrive under this rookie coach. This team could not thrive in a place where a coach is trying to learn along as they go along, because obviously the team didn't respect him. If you look at different interviews that Giannis did and different things that were coming out the locker room, like, hey, the team wasn't prepared, the team wasn't set up, the defense was not this, defense was not that. That's a lack of respect. Do you think folks in Miami talking about Spoelstra like that in the media? Do you think people out here talking about that, even about Tibbs? Do you see Jalen Brunson and them boys talking about how you weren't prepared? Nah, bro. Because the lack of preparation is basically saying we're not being coached properly. It's called a poor leadership. Very first game of the season, Giannis wanted to come out, and he waved this coach off. And the coach was like, all right, bet, you stay out there. Giannis was not doing that to Budenholzer, bro. He was not doing that to that coach. And I hate to bring out the race card and make everything about race. I don't do that. But I'm telling you something, man. I always joke around like, yo, black coaches are tough, man. And a lot of things that people don't understand is that people, when it's a brother, certain things they do to other races they won't do. Same with Doc Rivers. Certain type of critiquing things that the team does, there's certain level of respect they have for white people. They don't have it for black coaches, especially one who hasn't accomplished anything. You know what I mean? So look at Philly. Listen, subconsciously, a lot of times that happens where he's like, it's a brother, man. It's my boy. I ain't gonna listen to this guy. I'm gonna do what I want. Look at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a black offensive coordinator. You know what he did? The reports coming out, and AJ Brown confirmed that the play came in, but they improvised and ran their own plays on the pitch, on the court, on the field. That's not happening with a white coordinator, bro. So a lot of times our respect and our urgency is diminished when it's one of our own, right? And it should be opposite. Like, to me, I try. I'm not saying I don't try hard, but I want to make sure I cover my brother and put my best foot forward so he looks good. Because now Griffin is done. He may get an assistant coaching job again, but his resume and his name is smeared because of a couple of players' actions. But I don't want to make it about race. I don't want to make it. That's not the primary issue. It may be a sub issue. Subconsciously, it may come in, but I think it's something that's to be mentioned. And don't think. And I know the guy who's replacing him is Doc Rivers. He's a black guy, but I also understand that many of those dynamics will be the same, even when it comes to Doc Rivers. But the difference is Doc Rivers has won a championship. Granted, it was years ago with Boston in the Big Three, and he has failed in Los Angeles and Philly since then. But it is what it is. But I do think he has a level of cachet to be able to lead this team. So when I say it's not fair, based on his record and how much time he's given, it's not fair. But I also think based on he was in over his head. You know what I'm saying? He was in over his head in this particular instance where he sat there and he didn't do his best. And he was set up to fail. Having a team that has championship now expectation, having a team that has that just brought in after he got hired to weeks before everything started to bring in Dame Lillard and take away Drew Holiday. It's a tough pill for a new coach to swallow, but it is what it is. The person that the GM of this team is Giannis. You know, the GM of this team is not the owner of the team is Giannis. It's no one else. So he sat there and he had to deal with it. And I think low key what happened as well. Griffin thought it was cool to talk back to Giannis. I think Giannis is way into the GM's office, to the owner's office. Like, yo, you don't go to GM. He goes straight to the owner. Like, bro, yo, get this boy out of here, bro. He's trying to do all this. He talked back to me. Get him out of here, bro. And he sat there, and then he got the guy fired. So it begs to ask: do these players have too much power? Do players in general, NBA, NCAA, NFL. Now, and can I be honest, it's mostly in the NBA. Do these ninjas have too much power? Do these guys have too much say so in a franchise movements? You look at James Harden and what he's done, being able to move so many times. You see Giannis sitting here pretty much get a coach fired in 43 games. And mind you, guys, he was the one that wanted Adrian Griffin. He was the one. Not the ownership wanted Nick Nurse, who's right now doing a heck of a job in Philadelphia. He said, "No, I want Adrian Griffin." And now he got what he wanted, and it was a wrong decision. And now he's trying to backtrack and for them to find someone else. I understand the cachet that these players had, and it's always been this way. It's not a new phenomenon. Before y'all blame LeBron, it's not LeBron. Everything bad is LeBron's fault. It's the fact that even with Jordan, I'm guaranteed Jordan sat there and came right to the office. I don't want this guy. Sign this guy. Bring this guy in. Get this guy a new contract. These players, and they've earned, quote unquote, they've earned this right? They're players. They make all this money. They do this for the team. But guys, they're still players. They're not a GM for a reason. I believe a GM should do his job. Do you get input from your players? Yes. Look at the Raiders, where they wanted Antonio Pierce, and the team wanted Antonio Pierce, so they got Antonio Pierce. I think it's important for the team to have a voice. But to make head coaching decisions, nah. If you think this Nick Nurse was the best person to coach your team, You should have hired Nick Nurse. And LeBron, thank you for the input. Giannis, thank you for the input. But at the end of the day, I'm the GM. These guys have way too much power. These guys have way too much influence, and we have to be careful. What needs to happen, and this is why these teams look at Kevin Durant and the Nets. He tore down a franchise. Him and Kyrie, they joined the team with let's say Gerald Levert, with Karis Levert, with Kenny Atkinson, all the Jarrett Allen, all these really good players who are still doing well in the league. Like, nah, don't want this guy. Kenny Atkinson's too tough to me. Let's hire Steve Nash. They destroyed a franchise. Now the Nets who had to recover from the whole Boston trade fiasco, built themselves back up in an admirable way, and now Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving came in and tore the entire franchise down. These guys have too much power. These players have too much power. If I was a GM, I would get input from my team. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm still a big dog. If you don't like it, leave. That's it. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your 2 cents. But at the end of the day, I'm the leader. The same thing I tell my kids. I ask them how they feel. I ask them for their opinion. But ultimately, the decision comes to me. You know why? Because if the team doesn't work out, I get fired. They don't fire the players. Giannis is still here chilling. But Adrian Griffin is gone. The team is losing. Once Griffin is gone, you know what next to get fired? The GM. I'm not gonna sit here and allow these players to do all this craziness. Look at Sean Marks over in Brooklyn. It's Durant's off in Phoenix, Kyrie's off in Dallas, and Harden's off in now the Clippers, and he's still trying to fix this mess. A team that's struggling, trying to put a team together, bro. And pretty soon things don't work. He's out of here, guys. So we're in a thing of player empowerment. That's the one thing that I hate about the NBA. These players have too much power. This player can say, I'm not playing. They don't play. Don't play. And we have to create something, and they need to create things where they say, listen, you don't play, you don't get paid. I'm not gonna sit here and have players have me do less than desirable trades because they want to go to the Clippers, they want to go to the Nets, they want to go to Dallas. I send you where I want to send you. At the end of the day, or you don't play, retire. I think, and that's the difference between the NFL and the NBA. The owners run the league. That's crazy and unfair. That's not nice. The owners run the NFL. And these players got no trouble to chill. Like, all right, my bad. Okay. Don't like it, you get cut. Got a problem with it, you're out of the league. And that, in essence, produces a better quality of sport. So talk about the NFL is a good way to transition. It's championship week, right? Championship week where NFC Championship, AFC Championship, Ravens versus Chiefs, and Lions versus Niners. You know, I'll share that at a later time, my official predictions and what I think about the game. But I do want to talk about Lamar Jackson, man, and he is not my favorite QB. I don't think he's a top 5 QB in the league. He might not be top 10 QB in the league to me. And that don't mean he's not good. And I'm not trying to, badmouth the guy. But I also think that he has been the guy who has gone through the most crap in the NFL. From not being drafted as a Heisman when not being drafted, to then last year, the whole fiasco this past offseason where folks didn't want to give him guaranteed money. When this guy had guaranteed money, XYZ. And to his defense, or to be fully transparent, I wouldn't have given him all that guaranteed money. I wanted him on the Giants, but I wouldn't give him 200 plus guaranteed money because I don't think he's a good quarterback. He brings a lot. No, I don't say he's not a good quarterback. Sorry, that's wrong to say. But he's not I don't think he's a top QB to be earning Mahomes money and Same amount of money as Rodgers and I think Dak Prescott's better than him. I think Joe Burrow is better than him. I think Justin Herbert's better than him. I think he's, to me, levels with Tua. Him and Tua are kind of levels to me in terms of reading the offense. And like Jalen Hurts, I think Jalen Hurts shouldn't have gotten all that money because Jalen Hurts can't take a snap under center unless it's the tush push. But I think it's dope to see him stand there and deal with all that crap. And he kind of is like, I hear it. I don't care what you say. I'm going to do things my way. I think it just talks about the difficulty our people sometimes have in making it, that we have to look a certain way and act a certain way for us to be able to go forth. And the fact that Lamar Jackson is there is dope. But let's not get it twisted. He needs to win this game. If he doesn't win this game, his legacy is going to take a shot. Right now, Lamar Jackson is in the same tier as Dak Prescott. Great numbers regular season. When things get thick and things get difficult, they're MIA. Once these defenses smarten up and find a way to contain them, they have a difficult time in pivoting and making progress. So, like, this is the if you rank all these games, there's two QBs that need to win this game. It's Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy, because similar doubts and question marks and whispers about both of their games, and they need to understand how much they need to silence these critics. One win in a divisional round does not do it. One drive does not do it, because in that first game, to be honest with you, in that first half, Lamar Jackson played like trash. I didn't see much of the second half, so I can't really comment, but that first half, he played like crap. And I was like, oh, here we go again. But I'm glad I didn't say the tweet too prematurely, because he ended up winning and having four total touchdowns. But in terms of legacy, he needs to win this game. And not throw 98 yards and have a defense. He has to carry this team. Like, it has to be a game-winning drive where he sits there and says, you know what? Lamar Jackson has arrived. If and only if he does that, then I will come back on here and apologize. But let's not sit here and get it twisted, bro. Lamar Jackson needs to win this game. He cannot show up, or he can't ride his defense to win, because then he'll go in the category of being a game manager, right? Like Cam Newton said, there's game changers, there's game managers. Right now, he's a game manager. They win despite him. He can't carry a team to a dub. But I think once he figures that, if he this week carries his team with his arm, with his legs to a win. Last week, throwing for sub 200 is not carrying your team to victory, because that's the same thing that Josh Allen had on Sunday, and I clown Josh Allen. I will clown this boy if he keeps on doing that. He needs to carry his team and get the dub. So end of the day, I just wanted to reiterate as we start looking at this championship season, that this guy that Lamar Jackson, all that talk, do we commend him as a brother for what he's doing? But we also got to sit here and say, yo, he needs to win this game, because if he don't, he's back to being Dak Prescott. He's back to being that guy that people have question marks again. That does he earn his money? You get paid $200 plus guaranteed for games like this. Mahomes gonna show up. He earned his money. In the past, Josh Allen showed up, right? And in the past, Joe Burrow showed up. That was his time. He finally got a playoff win. Now it's time for him to go next level. Because all of them MVPs are cool. But if you want to be talked to as one of the greats and eclipse Joe Burrow, eclipse Josh Allen, you got to do it. Tell me what you got to think. Am I bugging? Am I doing anything wrong? Am I crazy? I know it's not a popular thing. It's not clickbait. It's really how I feel. I want us to start beginning to think like, yo, Let's hold, just because, whatever, we got to still hold these guys to the right standard. This guy, Lamar Jackson, he's skating away because last week was kind of shaky. But we'll see how it goes. But tell me what you guys think. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to share, post, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Twitter. God bless y'all, man. Peace.